Henley walks through the streets of New York looking for an apartment she was invited to. Her old colleague Danny stops and greets her. Realizing they both received the mysterious invite to the apartment, they head up together. They reach the room and meet another person, McKinney. Danny goes past him and tries to open the door but finds out it's locked. They chat and get to know one another while they wait. McKinney and Danny match each other's arrogance, and Henley is saved by the arrival of a fourth member, Jack. They all show their invite cards, and Jack picks the lock, allowing them to enter. They look around the empty apartment, and Henley picks up a rose on the floor and puts it into the vase. This triggers a reaction, and a holographic image shows in front of them. These four people are magicians, and were invited to create the greatest magic show ever. Danny is already a famous magician. His charisma and confidence allow him to wow large crowds with his extravagant illusions. McKinney is a self-employed hypnotist. He uses mentalism to get deep secrets from unsuspecting clients and take their money. Jack is an up-and-coming street magician. He roams the city looking for people to amaze, but instead of using magic tricks to impress them, he relies on his sleight of hand to rob people of their belongings. Henley runs her own shows underground. She creates dangerous situations to attract the crowds and is one of the best escape artists in the city. They work together and name themselves the Four Horsemen. They become a sensation and hold shows in Las Vegas. In one of their shows, they tell the audience that they will do the impossible and rob a bank without leaving the arena. They get a random audience member to come up to the stage, and while he comes up, the horsemen introduce their benefactor, Arthur. Jack brings up a helmet and places it on the audience member's head. Henley makes a large contraption appear. This machine is supposed to teleport the audience member to his bank. They put him in and turn on the machine, teleporting him inside his bank vault in France. The horsemen communicate with him through the helmet, and they tell him to press a button on his helmet. The money in the vault gets sucked up and it begins to fall from the ceiling and into the audience in Las Vegas. After the show, the news goes out that a bank in France was robbed and that the horsemen were responsible. The FBI arrests them and takes them in for questioning. Dylan is assigned to interrogate and find the stolen money. He strongly refuses, but is ignored, and is briefed by an Interpol agent, Alma. Dylan interrogates the audience member who was part of the act. He pleads his innocence and tells Dylan that he was teleported. Dumbfounded, Dylan says a trigger word on accident, and the audience member begins to play the violin, proving that he was hypnotized and doesn't know anything. Alma tells Dylan that most of the audience was hypnotized, therefore, they won't get any information out of them. Dylan and Alma start interrogating the horsemen. Danny uses his charm and arrogance to counter every piece of evidence the FBI has on them, while McKinney plays dumb and runs circles around them. Dylan realizes that no jury or lawyer would believe that money was magically teleported across the world. The FBI lets the horsemen free because of the lack of evidence. Dylan decides to take the case just because he doesn't like the horsemen and wants to see them behind bars. He finds out that an audience member was at the show filming the whole robbery. He meets Thaddeus, a retired magician who exposes other magicians for his TV show. He tells Dylan where their next show will be, but Dylan won't be able to catch them. He also refuses to help Dylan as he will make more money working by himself. Dylan threatens him with obstruction charges, and Thaddeus accepts. They meet on the stage where the horsemen had their show, and Thaddeus shows Dylan the behind the scenes of the act. He tells Dylan to enter the teleportation machine, and he gets transported to an empty vault room, which was apparently just below the stage. This is the room that showed the cash to the audience. Thaddeus tells him that the horsemen purposely targeted that specific audience member and trailed him for days to get access to the bank he used in France. Then one night, when the bank was supposed to be receiving new banknotes, they hid in the armored car that was delivering it. After taking out the guards, they swapped the real cash with fake cash made out of paper that is easily ignited, leaving no trace. The Horsemen's next show is in New Orleans. Dylan, Alma, and Thaddeus sit in their seats and wait for the next act. The show starts with simple tricks such as a disappearing rabbit and a hypnotizing session from McKinney. For the finale, McKinney begins by guessing the audience member's bank balance. After correctly guessing a couple, he tells them to hold an envelope they received at the beginning of the show. The horsemen call down Arthur to the stage and bring out a large envelope. Inside is a check with Arthur's bank balance of $144 million written on it. The horsemen instruct the audience to use a flashlight to light their envelopes, and something strange happens. The balance of the audience increases drastically, while Arthur's balance decreases. The horsemen reveal that the audience members were supposed to receive financial assistance from their insurance company when the economy tanked, but they didn't. This insurance company is Arthur's, and the horsemen are distributing the money to the people who were taken advantage of. Arthur is visibly upset at the betrayal, but the crowd goes wild as they all check their new bank balances. Dylan gets confirmation that Arthur indeed got robbed and tells the FBI agents outside to lock the building down. Arthur lunges at them, but shackles appear on his feet. The horsemen take their positions and make their escape. They run through the rooftops of the city and head into the large crowds of people on the streets. They split up and Alma catches Danny and holds him at gunpoint. She hesitates, and Danny takes off with Dylan close behind him. He leads Dylan into a bar and disappears, frustrating Dylan. Desperate, Arthur meets Thaddeus. He tells him that he will pay him $10 million if he can expose the horsemen as frauds and get him his money back. Thaddeus accepts the deal. Dylan heads back to the surveillance truck and watches the interrogation of Danny again. He sees that Danny stole his phone and replaced it with a bugged phone that Danny has access to. He uses the bugged phone to reveal the location of the horsemen and heads there with the SWAT team. The horsemen pack what they need, and when they see the FBI arrive, Danny, McKinney, and Henley escape first, while Jack stays behind and burns the last of their sensitive documents. Jack hears Dylan enter the apartment and hides. He traps Dylan's partner in the sink garbage disposal. When Dylan charges him, Jack wrestles with him and locks Dylan up with his handcuffs. Jack uses his surroundings to distract Dylan and runs to the trash chute to make his escape. Dylan frees his partner and chases after Jack. Jack steals a car and Alma picks up Dylan and follows him. After chasing him through the city, Jack crashes his car on the bridge. Dylan tries to pull him out of the burning car, but fails and grabs some documents before the car explodes. Dylan gets a call from Thaddeus. Thaddeus tells him that the horsemen have to be getting help from the inside. He suspects it's Alma and tells Dylan that they will never catch the horsemen with her on the team. Dylan's boss meets him on the bridge and hands over the case to another agent because of his continuous failure. The other agent reveals the horsemen's new target, a safe made by a company called Elkhorn, known around the world for being the most secure safe in existence. The specific safe they were targeting contains $500 million, and they found out about it after hacking Dylan's phone and using his credentials. The FBI heads to the location of the safe to make sure it's still there. When they arrive, they find out it's missing, and that Dylan's boss ordered its relocation. He denies the order, but then an agent says a trigger word, and they realize that he's been hypnotized, and the horsemen were behind it. They luckily catch the truck with the safe inside. They plan to send the truck, but track it so that they can catch the horsemen and finally arrest them. The truck stops, and someone opens the truck. Thaddeus comes out of hiding, and Dylan accuses him of being the fifth horseman, but he tells him he's not, and to open the safe. When he opens it, everybody's shocked to see balloon animals filling the safe, and Dylan realizes they've been fooled once again. The FBI sees a large crowd gathered nearby with the horsemen being displayed on the side of the building. They rush over and see them being raised by a platform. They tackle the horsemen, but find out they're mannequins, and that they were on another building instead. Dylan sees them and chases them, but can't get close enough. He desperately pulls out his gun to shoot them, but the horsemen jump off and disappear into thin air, turning into money. His partner comes up to Dylan and shows him the fake money being scattered everywhere, meaning the real money is still missing. Thaddeus heads to his car in a parking garage, and when he unlocks it, the stolen money erupts out. The police pull up and arrest him, thinking he stole it. The horsemen see that they're all over the news and are satisfied with their finale. Dylan meets Thaddeus in his cell, and Thaddeus tells him that he's innocent. Dylan excuses the guards and listens to Thaddeus's explanation on how he was framed. The room with the safe was altered to seem like it was missing. Once the FBI started tailing the truck with the fake safe, Jack went back and stole the money from the safe. Jack never crashed his car. During the chase on the bridge, the horseman drove a decoy car with a mannequin on Jack to make it seem like he died in the explosion. Thaddeus tells him this should be enough to clear his name, but Dylan refuses. Dylan tells him that someone has been one step ahead of them this whole time, and that unless he gets a name, he can't release Thaddeus. This frustrates Thaddeus, and after talking out loud, he realizes that someone must have been on the inside, and that person is Dylan, the fifth horseman. When he turns around, Dylan is gone, and outside of the cell. Dylan tells Thaddeus that he wants to see him spend the rest of his life behind bars, and walks away. Dylan meets Alma and explains everything. He tells her that the Horsemen and all the acts were revenge for what they did to his father. Dylan's father was Lionel Shrike, a magician who was cheated. His father's last magic trick was to escape a safe underwater, but couldn't get it open and died. The insurance company that was supposed to pay after his death was Arthur's company. The company that made the safe was Elkhorn, and the man who called his father a fraud was Thaddeus. He contracted the Horsemen, who were the best modern-day magicians, to help him steal Arthur's money, ruin Elkhorn's reputation, and put Thaddeus behind bars. Alma doesn't turn him in, saying some things are better left a mystery.